Story 1. The immediate need to use the restroom increases as the distance to the restroom decreases. When in the middle of nowhere, one can hold it for hours. However, if 100 meters away from a restroom, it is better to run. Story 2. Companies are making products worse, so you have to intentionally buy the new model. Items used to be made to last, but not anymore. Story 3. Traffic lights turn green when I want to change a song on my phone, but stay red when I am alert or in a rush. Story 4. My pets understand much more than they let on. They pretend to be clueless, so they do not have to follow my instructions. Story 5. Being extremely wealthy can lead to a form of genuine mental illness where a person justifies anything to accumulate more wealth, and society enables it because we label it as success. Story 6. In 4th grade, I knew that Johnny took my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bow staff. Story 7. The Toy Box Killer was a former Central Intelligence Agency operative. He is documented and confirmed in court records to have frequently used drugs that can erase months of memory. Officially, this occurred, yet the ability to do so is said to be impossible. However, numerous victims found through his recordings confirmed they were the same person, noting that he did not kill them but erased their memories before releasing them. I do not believe that he invented this method, which implies he must have obtained the formula from another source. Memory-erasing drugs are indicative of covert mind control experiments. He seems like the exact type of personality that would be involved in such activities. Story 8. The delivery person for our office supplies seems to be stuck in a time loop. He wears the same outfit every Tuesday, tells the same jokes, and even parks in the same spot. This has been happening for 3 years now. Story 9. What I can prove is that my dad was in the Central Intelligence Agency. What I can't prove is that every month he received a publication in the mail called the New Publications of the United States Geological Survey. It contained hundreds of pages listing the names, publication dates, and other details of geological reports. My dad had nothing to do with that. He was a computer programmer. He would spend a good hour reviewing that publication and writing down random information from it into a notebook. I am convinced it was related to his work in the CIA and not to geological publications. Story 10. Every time I put my laundry in the dryer, at least one sock goes missing. I have been doing laundry for 15 years, and I am convinced there is a portal in there somewhere. Story 11. The most successful serial killers were not only never caught, but they never even triggered the police to realize they were committing serial murders. They traveled around, killed people, and nobody knows the murders are connected, or even that there are murders in some cases. Story 12. Ancient fungi have evolved for longer than humans, developing a universal consciousness. They have intertwined this consciousness with ours to experience life through our perspective while also understanding both themselves and us simultaneously. Story 13. It's not fair, but I swear it's true. They always seem to be in the right place at the right time. Maybe it's karma, or maybe they sold their soul, I don't know. Story 14. Companies intentionally design appliances and electronics to have a shorter lifespan, prompting you to purchase replacements more frequently. Story 15. Based on an old Tom Sawyer line, he loses a marble and tells another one to find its brother. He throws it, and it lands near the other lost marble. I do this at work with a large bin of miscellaneous screws when I need a specific one. A surprising number of times, I find exactly what I need in an extremely short time, fast enough to surprise coworkers looking for the same thing in the same bin. I am confident enough to say that if it doesn't work, there isn't one, or at least not one worth finding. My rationale is that if you see one you recognize in the place you're looking, you know what you're looking for, and the other correct answer stands out more. I have no numbers or studies, but I won't stop doing it as long as it continues to work. Story 16. When we click unsubscribe on an email, it automatically signs us up for other subscriptions with their affiliates. Story 17. The news and media continuously state that the price of items is increasing, providing an excuse for everything to rise in cost and justifying it. Story 18. United Airlines Flight 93 was headed for the White House and was shot down. The story of the successful uprising of passengers was fabricated to avoid telling the American public that the military was responsible for the deaths of 44 civilians. even if it was deemed necessary. It was a much easier pill to swallow. Story 19. Trump engaged in insider trading when he announced the strategic crypto reserve on his Truth Social last weekend. There was a trade timed perfectly with the announcement, and I do not believe in coincidences. Story 20. My manager at Target took my stuffed rabbit off my cart 2 years ago. I miss you every day, little one. Gone but never forgotten. Story 21. If Jesus came back today, he would not recognize Christianity and would not even understand that it was supposed to be about him. Story 22. Mattress Warehouse, like many large mattress retailers, raises some suspicions. I am uncertain about the reason for their prevalence, but I find it hard to trust the number of stores. Most people purchase their mattresses online now, and I haven't seen anyone carrying a mattress on top of their car in quite some time. I work next to one, and I have not observed anyone entering or exiting the store. Story 23. Apps like this one are designed to make you accidentally click on advertisements, or at least make you think you did. If I touch anything near an advertisement, it opens. I can't prove I didn't touch that part of the screen by accident, but it happens frequently. Story 24. My mother accepted money from an uncle of mine to allow him to abuse me. I can't prove it, but I believe it to be true. Why? My mother and stepfather were always broke. I learned how to dodge bill collectors before I could spell the words. We often picked up and moved in the middle of the night to avoid paying the rent, leaving financed furniture behind. I was the only child out of 5 that my uncle wanted to take places with him, camping, going to get a burger or ice cream, for example. Who lets one child get that kind of attention while leaving the others at home? He gave her money all the time. I would hear them and my aunt talk about it. One time, he wanted to take me camping. My mother, who wanted to go to Las Vegas, told him he had to take all 4 of us. He did, but once we got to the campground, he insisted that I go get hamburgers for everyone. I refused. He said if I didn't go, we would pack up and go home. My older siblings heard this. I still refused, and we packed up and went home, getting there before my mother left. I'm sure he told her some false story, but my siblings informed her of what really happened. She continued to let him take me out alone. In her old age, after I had gone no contact with her, she sent me a letter apologizing for allowing him to abuse me. I never told her he abused me. I never told anyone. Story 25. Religious leaders of all denominations are aware they are spreading falsehoods, but it provides them with a comfortable life, a semblance of fame, and control over others, so they continue to persist. The reality is that no one truly possesses legitimate answers. Story 26. Republicans and Democrats are secretly friends behind the scenes. They need the conflict to justify their harshest actions against the general public. Story 27. We are about to witness another significant wealth transfer from the lower and middle classes to the top 5% this term. Story 28. Trump is a Russian asset. Which side profits the most from stopping military aid to Ukraine? Ukraine or Russia? Stopping intelligence support to Ukraine? Ukraine or Russia? Disengaging from NATO? The United States or Russia? Starting a trade war with allies? The United States or Russia? Threatening longtime allies with invasion: Greenland, Canada, Panama, the United States or Russia? Discussing the resumption of trade with Russia? The United States or Russia? Destabilizing the European Union through a trade war and disengaging from old treaties that ensure a stable world? The United States or Russia? Ceasing efforts against Russian hackers? The United States or Russia? Story 29. Donald Trump cannot read. To be clear, I do not mean he cannot read at all. I just mean he cannot read functionally. I believe he could read once, but I do not believe he can read now. I have some evidence to present, though it is mostly circumstantial. When you consider everything together, it begins to look concerning. Story 30. The 2024 election was handled so effectively that we cannot question its integrity. In my experience, after Election Day, there are usually a few weeks before the results are confirmed. This time, the results were announced before the day was over, and the statements made by the current administration prior to the election lead me to believe they were confident about their outcomes. Story 31. It is not a coincidence that COVID-19 broke out in a city that has a Tier 1 virus experiment facility specializing in coronavirus research. Story 32. I have a Helicobacter pylori infection in my stomach and have had it since at least May of last year. The symptoms match perfectly, but the tests performed by gastroenterologists came up negative. Helicobacter pylori can produce false negatives if the infected person is taking proton pump inhibitors, which is what everyone with these symptoms is prescribed. Hopefully, I will be able to get the help I need soon. Story 33. I am convinced that there is intelligent extraterrestrial life in the universe, even if we cannot prove it yet. The sheer size and diversity of the universe make it very unlikely that we are the only intelligent beings. Story 34. There is no God. With the hundreds and thousands of gods out there, which one is true? Why did this kind and loving God create tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, and diseases that kill humanity for no reason? Why does he give us free will yet punish us for our actions? Why are we judged twice, first by courts and then by a God? Why do humans pray so much if not all prayers are answered? Isn't this spiritual discrimination? My aunt was a nun, and I attended 12 years of Catholic school as a former altar boy. Story 35. Low stakes, but I am convinced my former boss and her husband are secretly swingers. I have never seen anything incriminating, but they give off that vibe. Additionally, she wears a pineapple necklace every day, so it seems likely. Story 36. Time does not really exist. It is difficult for me to explain, but the future, like all of it, has already happened. It is something I feel very deeply, and I cannot shake it. Story 37. Elon purchased Twitter to access Trump's old direct messages and server logs. There would be geolocation data and IP logs that could be worth $44 billion to the right individuals. Story 38. There seems to be a scam involving power companies in the United States. During the colder months, when I don't use the air conditioning, just electricity for heating, the price remains about the same. I called to ask if they are averaging the costs, and they said no. Someone is definitely not telling the truth. Story 39. I am convinced that the study suggesting that income above $60,000 does not increase happiness is misleading. I believe it is a tactic to keep low-income individuals content with their current situations while maintaining a goal that feels attainable. Story 40. USB plugs are advanced technology with a phase-change Mobius ribbon design that allows them to switch orientation quickly and effortlessly. Story 41. The goal of the current United States administration is to crash the economy and force many people into bankruptcy, allowing billionaires to buy everything for pennies on the dollar. Story 42. There are billionaires and people with more money than they do, but we do not know them because they pay to remain anonymous. Story 43. Highways England and fuel companies are in collusion. Continuous road closures and lengthy diversions lead to increased fuel usage and more frequent refueling. Story 44. Right now, it's about the 2024 election. Not in the way of denial seen in 2020, but rather from the data provided by analysts, the coincidences, and the remarks made by Trump, Musk, and Trump Jr., along with some specific groups being disbanded. One has to admit, it all seems a bit suspicious. Story 45. I can sense high blood pressure, and I can often tell early when a woman is pregnant, sometimes even before she realizes it herself. Story 46. I'm sure I will receive many negative votes and possibly some criticism, but here it is. There are no gods. None. Not just I don't know or there is no evidence. But the concept of any god is simply absurd. Assuming that the universe is humanoid or has humanoid origins is a misinterpretation of the highest order, just evidence of our limited understanding. Story 47. We are returning to modern cable with the numerous streaming services emerging. It is cable with extra steps and fees to reduce advertisements. Story 48. Many posts on popular Reddit communities are propaganda intended to stir up discourse. The main examples I see from the communities I'm on are: 1. In the combat footage community, the large majority of posts showcase Ukrainians killing Russians. However, we clearly know they are not winning the war. I am convinced these posts are meant to make people think they are winning or to garner support for the continuation of the conflict. In the AskReddit community, the overly specific political questions recently seemed designed to provoke arguments. Some examples I've seen include inquiries such as, "People of Kentucky, how do you feel about Canada not buying your whiskey anymore and how it will hurt your local economy?" And, "What's up with Trump constantly calling Trudeau the governor of Canada?" Additionally, there are posts like, "Trump supporters, how do you live with yourselves?" It appears to be either bots or individuals attempting to spark arguments in the comments for engagement. Story 49. JFK's brother took JFK's brain from the National Archives and placed it in his coffin before burial. He did this for religious reasons and because the family objected to not burying all of JFK, rather than for conspiratorial reasons. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.